cheer. 50 years of love and light, we're here. Celebrating legacy, shining so bright. Imam W. Dean's vision, guiding our flight. Hey, it's the IWD 50 strong in. A journey through the past, where dreams transcend. From his wisdom we rise, we thrive. Honoring the legacy, keeping hope alive. Hey! 3 days of joy, a multi-generational call. New leaders emerging, we're growing tall. From community life to human excellence, together we strive to magnify this great existence. Hey, it's the IWD 50 strong in. A journey through the past, where dreams transcend. From his wisdom we rise and we thrive. Honoring the legacy, keeping hope alive. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. A cultural extravaganza, performers on stage. Come celebrate our story, help us turn the page. With every heartbeat, we work and play. In the spirit of unity, we chart our way. Hey, it's the IWD 50 strong in. A journey through the past, where dreams transcend. From his wisdom we rise and we thrive. Honoring the legacy, keeping hope alive. So let's raise our production and let the world know Imam W. Dean's leadership will forever glow. Together we celebrate, together we stand. 50 years of guidance, we work hand in hand. Hey, it's the IWD.
let's look at the verse. We're going to start with the verse. Now there's maybe two or three Arabic words I use. So I'm not going to do Arabic. Y'all ears are not ready for the Arabic. Because how many of you heard, I didn't get a chance to hear, I heard Omar, and I heard Layla, and Rabi. I didn't hear Zara. So how many of you heard Layla? Layla was the last one. Raise your hand. Okay. How many words could you pick out when Layla was reciting? Raise your hand. If you could pick out 3 words. Okay. Because she read fast. Yes. And because they're kids, they're young kids, and they're probably nervous, and you know how it goes, right? But you saw something. If she would have went slow, you still would have. Still would have. So don't worry about it. Right? Okay, what I'm saying is, if I use Arabic, your ears are not trained to hear it. Your eyes are trained to see it. And now if I put something up on the screen and show you Arabic, all of you will be with it. But if I speak it, you're not with it. So I'm not going to speak it. To impress you, you already hear it. You ain't got nowhere else to go, except check out and get back on the flight. And I want to make sure you have time to do that. Okay, that's why I don't do the Arabic in the public like that. Because I have something to say, I want you to hear it. But it's coming from the brain. Trust me. And I'm sure we do because we're mighty students. So Allah says in the Quran, "Oh, my guardian Evolve, do not leave me alone." Here's one Arabic word. The Arabic word is farad. For alone. It's farad. But you know that word, farad. Your ears trained to hear farad, farad Muhammad. You're trained to hear that. You can hear farad. You are the best of waters. Water. You know the word water. You hear the word water all the time. Right? So you got 2 Arabic words. Water is an Arabic word. Farad is an Arabic word. Both of these Arabic words are in the same verse. Do not leave me farad. You are the best of the waters. Who is farad? Farad Muhammad. Who is water? Water Deen Muhammad. Both words are in the same verse in the Quran. Yeah, go back and look. That's where we're starting from. Now, this is Zechariah. This is the prayer of Zechariah. Who is Zechariah? You know, they pulled straws to see who would be in charge of Mary. And Zechariah pulled, I guess, the longest straw. But it wasn't by itself. It's a group of them. Now, I'm not going to do this literally. Go back and look at mine. And he got to go back, he got to report to the group every now and then. But what do I say? Don't say anything. Just use some signs. Teach and go 3 days teaching in signs. Father Muhammad spent 3 days teaching in signs. That's our history. We're talking about where we started with the Quran, our history. He taught in science for 3 years, we say, then he disappeared. Right? But it wasn't one man by himself. Now I'm gonna say things I'm not gonna qualify. You've heard it before, I'm not qualified. I'm not gonna prove to you I'm a student of W. Muhammad. So the one man wasn't by himself. It's a group of them. But one of them pulled the longest straw to go check on Mary. But when he went to check on Mary, she was already being fed. When he went to check on the imam, he could already prepare the meal. You follow? Okay. So now let's talk about Father Muhammad. That's where we start. The question is, here is this man, he comes. He didn't come alone. They have a scheme. They have a scheme with Mary too. But every time they go, she was already being fed. He has this scheme. He has this plan. Right? Now, I'm not going down the path of him having a devious plan. I'm just saying he has a plan. What's the plan? They're looking at these people. He's looking at these people, and these people have a social problem that has affected them because of slavery. His own people were affected by the same group, the colonizers, the slave makers. They're the same group. Colonizing, slavery, same group. But we were maybe affected adversely more than any of the others because we lost everything. They were able to keep their names. We'll let you keep your rituals. One thing you're not going to keep is the ability to read the Quran and be inspired by it. We're going to inspire you. We're going to tell you what's morally right, what's morally wrong. We don't want them, we do not want them being inspired by the Quran for the Quran to tell them what's good, what's bad, what's right, what's wrong. We're going to tell you when you can have an abortion and it's okay, and we're going to tell you when you can't have an abortion and it's not okay. We're going to tell you when you can smoke marijuana and it's okay. We're going to tell you when you can't smoke marijuana and it's okay. We're going to tell you when you wear the short dress all the way up, unrevealing, it's okay. And we're going to tell you when it's not okay. We're going to do it with the power of our own mind, and we don't want you going in the Quran and letting the Quran tell you. This is the whole world. Now we're in this. So he's looking at this group, and he has a plan. He's saying, if this group here has lost everything, the name, their culture, the people, we have some people now went to Senegal. I know you met someone who told you their family, and they went all the way back to the Songhai Empire. And tell you my grandfather, my great-grandfather was amongst the Songhai. They tell me they're gone. They just started going back. My wife, they see my wife. They see my wife. They said, Auntie Hanan. Now we just got off the plane. Auntie Hanan. And she said, just natural. How am I your auntie? And they told her. They went way back. And they started down the line. All the way down to my son and my daughter-in-law. And that's why you are auntie. They didn't do like we do. They didn't make it a saying. Oh, we call everybody auntie. No, they went down the line. I said to my wife, I whispered, don't ask that again. Yeah. Because why? Their family history wasn't broken. Ours was broken. But they also said, we're glad to see you. One woman said, we didn't know what happened to y'all. We came back, right? Yes, but it's broken. Okay. So Father Muhammad sees this. Now, and these people have psychological problems. They psyche. We talk about it in the Quran, I call it the soul. The soul, psyche, you look it up, same word. Something has entered into their psyche, a whole group of them. And it has damaged their psyche, this whole experience. How can I get these people to be, let's say, free again? How can I solve this issue? How can we resolve it? We're still today trying to resolve the issue of what occurred with this big experience of slavery. That happened in America, perhaps no other people went through this type of experience. That's what we say, right? So how can we fix it? How can we heal it? The plan is this. Now, he's coming from a group of people who've been affected by the colonizers, right? And that's part of the satire of the Nation of Islam. They're satire. But I'm like, I can't go into the satire. Here's the plan. If I can get these people to read the Quran for themselves, with their own mind, even this damn psyche, it will resolve the problem. It will cure them from the influence. 1930, like the man Fahim Shuai would say, if you believe in this Quran and you accept what Allah says, and it's going to happen, it's going to be what it says it is, all we have to do is get you to read it, but you can't read it with the mind of the colonizer, the man the colonizer gave. You have to read it with your own mind. So here's the scheme. Put them in the temple. This is the vision. Put them in the temple or the mosque and let no man touch them. And you're going to respond, well, how can I have a son? And no man has touched me. We need the immigrants to come in and teach us. We need the Africans to come and teach us. No. It wasn't a black movement because the Africans couldn't come in. The black Africans couldn't come in. We're brown. They black. They couldn't come in. No one could come in and touch them. Right? Yes. And the question is, then how are we going to be able to read this Quran from the Arabic text on our own and no man has touched me? That's where we started. Now, what's the condition of the people in 1930? What's their relationship with the Quran? And to show this, we have a picture of Fard Muhammad. One picture. And what is he doing in the picture? He's looking in the Quran. Now, if you take a picture and look in the camera, when the picture comes out, it looks like I'm looking at you. And you would look at it and say, okay, Imam Hussein was talking to the audience. But if I turn and talk to the camera, now when you look at the picture, it's not looking like he's talking to the audience, he's talking to something else as the object of his conversation is pointing somewhere else. So that's the orientation of the whole picture. So the picture is not Fard Muhammad. Do not leave me, Fard. Stay with me. All this connects me. Do not leave me, Fard. So the picture is telling you the objective of this picture is not this way, it's here. It's this book. Yes. And you've heard it. If this is God, he's not God. But what God going to read in the book? You've heard it, right? I have to bring it back so you put the logic all together. Okay, well here's the question. If he's not God, and he's not God, then how would you see him? Are we to just erase him out of our history? Then how would you see him in history? We can't see him as God in history because he's not God. He didn't say he was God. He said, I'm not even qualified to be called a prophet. You've heard the lectures, right? Then who is he then? You know who he is. He's Master Fard. He's the Master. And he is the Master. And once you learn to read this Quran for yourself, and you look back in your own history, we will declare he's the Master. Yes. And how he did it. One of the most successful men in the history of Islam in America that could bring Islam to a group of people. We're going to talk about the condition of these people more. And be successful with the movement. But the movement doesn't begin and end in 1930. Most successful one. But look how he did it. He took the Quran. It wasn't guesswork. It's a group of them. Took Quran, read the Quran, and from the Quran. See, when you read the Quran, when you read, you'll learn. You're going to learn to do this. When you read the Quran, just in the Arabic by itself, not translation. Don't let your mind go, well, why you translate it? Forget about what they said. Read it yourself. And then you're going to get ideas. You're going to get that. But it has to be, when you talk from the Quran, it has to be projected towards something. Or else you're going to find yourself going back in history, talking about Muhammad the Prophet. A lot of people, they read the Quran, they have to go in history. They have to give it a historical context because they don't know how to put it in a context today, in the moment where we're at. They don't know how to do that. The Grand Master did that. He took the Quran and he created his own mythologies for these people. He took from the people things in their history, things in their culture, and took the Quran now and created this whole mythology in the medicine. Because he has the medicine, right? But in a syringe, when you have medicine, when you take medicine, there's something in the medicine to cure the disease, but there's also poison in the medicine. The bottle will say, take this only once a day. Why? If you take it once a day, you'll get the antidote. You'll get the cure. If you take it more than once a day, you're going to be affected by the poison. It has poison in it, and it has the medicine in it. He did the same thing. He gave us something, yes. It was a heavy dose of medicine. But in the syringe was poison also. Some of us are being affected today by the poison. Even though the medicine did work. But you don't keep taking it. I hope you follow. Okay. Now, what's the condition of these people he's looking at? Because here's the plan. We have to get them to read this Quran for themselves. We're talking about the Arabic text, not the translation. The Arabic. There's a difference. See, my audience today, I can say these things, and I'm not, you're not far off. It's not fantasy land, because you know it's a difference. Okay. The condition of these people, they can't read English. But we got to get them to read the Arabic and comprehend the Arabic. And it's going to solve this psychological problem that they have. We know it's going to do it, but we got to get them to read. But remember, we can't let somebody else come in and teach them how to read. Because nobody can touch it. Right? Right. Okay, so how are we going to do this? How are we going to get these people to read Quranic Arabic for themselves without anybody else touching them? And they can't even read English. How do we know they can't read English? Because we have this story here with us. That's because there was this letter. You are. How many of you wrote the letter? Okay. 2 million. That's good. That's good. Okay, I have to tell the audience, don't fan it. Don't let the grandkids see the great behavior. Okay, raise your hand again. Now just look at each other. Now, don't lose sight. That's why I say you have to come in the beginning to know what's going to happen in the end. We're from a people. We're the people that's from the planet who started with a group who wrote a letter, and the reason you wrote the letter is because it was something to encourage you to learn to read and write English, because you couldn't read and write English. The world doesn't know this. And as Dr. Fanusi tells them, right? Yes, you have to have a doctor's degree, a PhD, for them to even listen to you. Or they won't listen. Oh, he's making it up. This is real. Now, they couldn't read and write. Look at the letter. You didn't go home and think of a letter and write down, dear Mr. Muhammad, I would like to be remembered. You didn't do that. You took a letter that was already written, and all you had to do was write what was already written. Now I gotta tell a story, but don't do that to give your apology. Don't go make a tab in hair, okay? Don't hate me. We can't do that. It won't be justice. So I wrote the letter. I was one of the last ones that wrote the letter, but I didn't understand this letter. Many of us didn't understand the letter, but I'm giving our history. The letter was to encourage the people to start learning how to read and write. The people could not read or write English. When I'm in college, when I wrote the letter, I got a different mind. I'm looking at this letter, they saying this letter was written by the great apostle Muhammad, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and you have to read it exactly the way he penned it. Right? Exactly. And we looked at it and says, Brother Minister, this is not good penmanship. Oh, first edition. What? What did you say? We're innocent. We're innocent. One brother said, I can write better than this. Oh! But the community was too small to give us 90 days. If they gave us 90 days, half the people would be gone. Because you got that, you might get killed for that. Who knows, in 1930. Just the people. So, how come we can't type it? Right? I mean, we don't know. Okay. So you know what I did? I said, well, can I take it home and work with it? So yeah. So I did what a college student normally does. I took some onion paper, put it on top of the letter. I said, look, I go up and get my hands. I'll get my hands. But if you went to college, that's why our kids are gonna be good. They're gonna go get some ideas that the professor don't know. So they can't get their vocabulary. They got no area. So every time you got to go across the line. You can't make it perfect. And I got my hats. First letter, one letter, got my hats. How many of y'all wrote 10 hats? This is our commitment we have. This is our history. That's the letter. That's the history of the letter. But now look, how are we going to get them to read the book and inherit it? Now let's go to the scheme. The great master, we know he has some schemes. He has some plans. Some of us get upset about him, but it's just, you got to live in the condition. Put yourself in that condition. He's African, even today, right now. Don't you know there's people right now today, Mount Saline? You're teaching Arabic? Yes. What are you doing? I said, I'm teaching them congregations, 10 forms. Are they African American? Of course they are. Because Mount Saline don't teach them African American. He said, they ain't gonna learn. He said, the African American, these are scholarly people. They're not African American. They say the African American just want to sit in a classroom for about 15 minutes and be called a sheikh. He said, they don't want to learn. I say, I don't know. I'm one of them, so what the heck? Right? I can't jump out. I could. They invited me to. Then they say, Imam Salim, guess what? You should be the imam. Sometimes to Mali students.
So I can say what I want to say. I don't have to bite my tongue to the mic. Y'all know that, right? They say, Imam Salim, you should be the imam of all the African Americans of Detroit. All of them. But you're not an imam of no masjid. You should leave them and join us. Yes. I have a witness to the conversation. And they're my friends. I call them my friends. I only have one friend. One friend amongst them. But you know, I'm not a bad guy. So I say, really? Because I'm curious of where this is going. So I got to get more. I got to hear more. So I say, really? They say, yes. They say, you even look like us. It'll be easy. Oh, yeah. This is true. This is not common. This is true. So they said, what do you think? I said, you know the story about Abu Lahab? When the surah was revealed? That's why they liked it. They liked it. And they said, yes. I said, when his wife heard about it, because the surah was about him and his wife, she was furious. No, this was it. Before I get to that part. They say, when you talk about the Quran, we understand you better than when Imam W. Muhammad talks about it. Oh, they got me now. They got me. I said, really? They said, yes. We hear him, but we don't understand him. But when you talk, you're fresh. We understand you. I said, So I said, there was no out there. So I'm telling the story about Abu Lahab. I said, his wife became furious. And she set out to kill the prophet because of that surah. So Abu Bakr and the prophet, may Allah be pleased with all of them, they were sitting together. And she came up, but Allah caused her not to see the prophet because she was just out of her mind. She was furious. She didn't see him. I've had that experience with the man 2 times. One time I lost it. I know these men when I turned around, I said, where's the man? I couldn't find him. He's supposed to be following me. But anyways, she didn't see him. She said, where's your friend at? I heard what he said about me and my husband. You tell him when I see him, I'm gonna kill him. And I go back and say, okay. So here's the moral of the story. I said to them, perhaps Allah calls you not to see the man. Are we still friends? Yes. Okay. So this is what happens. Father Muhammad, he has a plan to get us to start reading the Quran in Arabic. It's going to take time. It's going to take time. The plan is going to take so long. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad himself is too young. He's too young. But he's not young because he's still having babies. If you are still having babies, now all of you in here, you know, if you're still having babies, you're young. If you see a mother pushing a stroller, she's young. We'll call her young, a young mother. So he's still having children. So he's young. But he's too old to fulfill the plan. It's going to take us too long to get these people to learn to read the Quran in Arabic for themselves. You can't be the one. The one has to be someone who's not born yet. It's all in you have to see the master. And when he comes, take care of him. Mary, you are not the one. But when he comes, take care of him. You following? Yes. But he's looking way down the road. He's taking this man and projecting it way down the road. So we know the history. We put the name behind the door. Why do you think the man told that story so many times? We have to preserve our history. We have to have our own museum with a room with the name behind the door. Why don't we go by the house he was born in? and go put the name behind the door. I tell my son the story, he starts laughing. He said, Dad, the house is still in Hamtramck, Michigan. Why don't we buy it? Go make them an offer they can't refuse. Buy the house. And go and put the name behind the door. I said to my son, he started laughing. I said, Dad, first I asked him, I said, I'm going to say something to you. I want to see if you respond. I said, the name behind the door. He said, you don't know what it means. To you, if I say it, you know what it means. Right? I tell him the story. I said, we need to buy the house. He said, Dad, he started laughing. He said, you mean you're going to buy the house with the name behind the door? I'm saying, yes. And guess what? I'm going to charge $10 for you to go in the house, if you got to go upstairs, wherever this door is, and look behind the door and see a name. You're not going to see a name etched from Father Muhammad. You're going to see a sign that says, this is the door that had the name. That's what the sign is going to say. You're going to pay me $10, you, to go and look at this sign and say, this is the name behind the door. The first year. How many of you will pay me $10 to see that? That's what I'm talking about. The next year, you're going to pay me another $10. How do I know? How do I know you're going to do it? Because when y'all come to Detroit, you say, take me to Motown. Oh, what was it? What? Oh, wait. The sign said Motown. We say, yeah, that's Motown. No, stop, go back. I got to see this. It's at night. Come on, it's at night. No, I got to get it. I got to see it. Oh, man, this is Motown. I ain't never been to Motown. I went to Motown one time, I was outside. I ain't never been inside. You understand? But you would come and pay $10 to go in Motown and to see a 45 with Stevie Wonder's name on it. That's all you want to see. Yeah, but it does something else psychologically. We have to build our own national museum. We have to build it, and we have to tell our story. Our story has to be it. We have a beautiful, this is a mythological story. Today, you're talking mythology. People wrote a letter to get an X, and they got the X because they couldn't write their own name. So that's what the X was. When you can't write that, you just put an X. Okay, so here's the scheme. Father Muhammad gives the Honorable Elijah Muhammad 2 Qurans. He gives him 2 Qurans, and he says to him, this is the Quran, this one is for everybody to read. But this one is especially for you. It's all Arabic. It's yours, and don't let anybody else touch this book. Don't let them touch it. Put it up, take good care of it. It's for you to read only for you. Now, of course, he doesn't learn to read Arabic, but he has 2 sons, right? 2 sons. Now, Adam had how many sons? No, he didn't. Adam had a lot of sons. But we only know 2 sons, right? Jacob had how many sons? 12. But we know 2 sons, right? We know Joseph and his brother, right? We know the 2 sons of Adam. Abraham had how many sons? 2 sons. You go through the Quran. Luqman had how many?
2 sons.
He had 2? How many was he talking to?
2.
So in Luqman, he says, Ya Bunayya. But he's talking to 1. So it appears. But Bunayya, it sounds like he's saying, oh, my 2 sons. You know Arabic. If you take the dual and you're going to put the pronoun on the end, my, you drop the noon, right? You're going to drop the noon, and you have to put it in the accusative. So you got to say aini instead of ani. You drop the noon, then you can say I, good night. And then you're going to say, yeah, for me, my. So it looked like it's two sons. Yeheboniah, how it looked. Not like how it's translated, how it looks. My two sons. Adam says Yeheboniah. Joseph's father says Yeheboniah. Look like he's talking just to Joseph. But he said, my two sons. Of these two sons, one is the spiritual son, and one is the practical son, we would say. These are the two sons of Adam. Abraham had two sons. We argue about which one was he going to sacrifice, the spiritual son or the practical son. The Christians say he was going to sacrifice the practical son for spirituality. The Muslims say no, he was going to sacrifice the spiritual son for practicality. And today we're still like that. We're going to sacrifice one of the sons. But if you read the Quran, neither one was to be sacrificed. We'll have the son, the practical son. He understands the material world, how to get the benefits out of the material world, and what have you. And we have the son that knows how to get the benefits from the spiritual world. Oh, my two sons. So now Elijah Muhammad has two sons. One son was the practical son that we sacrificed. And the other son was the spiritual son. That's what they became. One became the practical son, one became the spiritual son. So he sent his two sons to learn Arabic. Not all the sons, these two. He's following it. See, I'm putting the Quran with you. To go and learn Arabic. To make sure they learn Arabic, right? So they learned Arabic. Now was the time to go get the Quran. That was just for me. I only trust my son to tell me what it's saying. You follow? And that's why he has to send his two sons to learn Arabic. Because someone is going to have to tell me what this special Quran is saying for me. I only trust my sons. I don't trust nobody else. The two sons get the Quran. They sit down and they read it. And they look at each other and they say, who's going to be the one to tell him this Quran is no different than all the other Qurans? You get it? Who's going to be the one to tell him? Dad, this Quran ain't special. ain't no more in this Arabic Quran than all the others. Right? But you see the scheme. How are you going to get them to read the Quran? How are you going to get these people to read the Quran? This is the scheme. So what happens? They go learn the Arabic. They both look at the Quran. One of them gets turned on spiritually. And one of them got turned on practically. The two sons. You get it? Yeah. Now, this is the movement. Well, what year are we in now? Let's take a time in history. We have a picture of, one picture we have of Father Muhammad. Another famous picture we have, you probably have it in your house somewhere, of the man that's standing, he's holding the Quran. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad is sitting. And in the back, on the wall, is Father Muhammad looking in the Quran. Now, the historian, I'm not a historian, but I'm going to sound like one. The historian will look at the picture and say, and look at their history. They'll say, okay, the man in the picture on the wall, he's a young man. He's not an old man. He got black hair, long, comb well. That's a young man, right? When he took the picture, he was a young man. The man that's holding the Quran, in the picture, he's a young man. But we know the man on the wall is older than the man that's holding the Quran, though they appear to be the same age, right? So, but time has passed. So what year is the man in the picture holding the Quran? What ear is the man in the picture behind them looking in the Quran? Anybody would think they're in the same time. They're the same age. But no, they're not. One, we're talking 1930, that picture. The other picture, we're talking when? Anyone have an idea?
1960.
Okay, let's take 1960. We were at 30 years later, 1960. When the man in the picture is holding the Quran in 1960, what's the condition of the people of the community in 1960? How far have we come to the goal? 30 years later, you say. Where are we at? Can this group of people read the Quran for themselves yet? Then we're still in the movement. This is a Quranic movement. Because until we can read this Quran for ourselves and think from it for ourselves without being touched by other people, the psyche is not going to be cured. This is a master plan. That's why we call him Master Father. Yes. And the Imam who's holding, he reads it. He said, aha, I see how he did it. But I can't do it his way. I'm not going to prepare the meal like he prepared. Wait, man, how did you learn? Allah gave it to me. Allah showed it. Mary, where you get this from? Allah feeds me. In the words of Imam W. Muhammad, if it was you, I'm putting his words in my words. So don't charge me for not saying it right. Think about it. If it was you and your plan, you come back 30 years later to check on the community. Because it's your plan. If it's my plan to say Molly's going to be here, I go away, I come back, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to go check on Molly. Let me see where Molly is at. So when he came to check, he says he never came back again. He was checking on the community. What man is the community? So he didn't have to come back again because he could see that Imam W. Muhammad can prepare the meal, but it was his own meal. He didn't prepare the meal like he did. He didn't prepare the medicine like he did. You follow? Yes, but he calls him the master. Yes, I would call the Imam the master. Because one day, I said, aha, I see how he does it. Yes, I'm not boasting. So I go to him. The first time I meet the Imam with a conversation, second time I met him, I didn't know he could remember like he could remember. But I met him. And he asked me, we were talking. He asked me, do you have a question for me? What do you think my question would be? I said, yes. How did you get like that? He said, like what? I said, you know. I said, everybody that like you. What did you do? Because I can see you're not speaking from the English text. By then I could see it. You're speaking from the Arabic text. You can't come up with them ideas from English. But I see it in Arabic. He says, really? I said, yes. He said, okay. You know, the Imam stays calm to keep you calm. So he gets up, he goes gets a Quran, he put it on the table, we sit and talk to each other, he says, show me. I said, show you what? Show me that you can see me from the Arabic text. Show me something in the Quran in Arabic that will show me that you can see me. I said, oh, that's easy. Because I'm relaxed. Right? I said, that's easy. Let's go here. We go there. I say, see here? You said this. Here it is. He said, oh, that's good. But think about this. He up, you know, he raised the bar. He said, think about this. I said, wow. He said, oh, no, don't worry. Don't, you're okay. Don't worry about that. He said, we just friends. We just friends, you know. Come on, show me a doctor. Show me a doctor. Making a little game out of it, right? He said, show me a doctor. I said, what about this? He said, oh, that's good. Then he raised the bar and said, think about this. I said, whoa. That's all right. No problem. So finally, he said, show me one more. I said, let's do, I said, I know a good one. Let's do man means man. He said, you can see that? I said, yes. He said, you can show me that? How I did that? I said, yes. Oh, that's easy. Come on. He said, show me. This is a true story. He said, show me. I said, show you? I said, oh, we don't need the Quran. I could just say it. You'll get it. But you already know it. He said, I don't know. I don't know. I said, show me. I said, Lisa, that guy, California. He said, he did like that. I said, that means mine. The word Zakara means male, and it means mine. Man means mine. He said, he started smiling. He says, I didn't do that. So he thought again. You got to know him better. You know him. If you've been around him, you know how he has these expressions and these pauses. He looked at, he started thinking, you know, he's thinking. He says, that's good. I said, you didn't see that? I said, yes, you did. He said, no, I didn't see that. He said, that's not what I did. He said, honestly, I did. The other ones, yes. Because he had spoke the day before. I said, I could do it yesterday. He said, you that good? I said, I'm not that good, but I can show you where you was at. He said, show me. And I showed him. Then there's a man named man, the last one. So he said, I didn't do that. He said, but I tell you what, you keep that. That's yours. You just keep that. That's yours. But that's not how I did. Then he told me how to. He said, okay. Till he told me what he did, how he got to be like he is. Okay, the time is on. I can't let people. Now, these are two sons. The practical son and the spiritual son. And the spiritual son, as we know the history of the spiritual son. Where are we at? 1960. The Imam is starting to teach. We're getting ready to celebrate 50 years of Imam W.D. Muhammad. Because of the time, I'm moving forward. Where is the people at? Where is the community at after 50 years of W.D. Muhammad with the Quran? Are we there yet? We're not there yet. Right? How long is it going to take us to get there? How long? You all don't know? How many years did he say, give me? How many did he say, give me? Nobody remembers? He didn't say 1,000. Give me 100 years. Give me, I'm going to live on in you. Give me a good life. One time he said, give me 100 years. Because if we don't have this Quran in 100, you know what the word 100 means? It means daily. If we don't get this within 100 years, we're going to die again. We're still in the movement. We're already up to 100 years from when we started. We need another 100 years to get to where we need to go. We're looking back 100 years, 1930, back 100 years. We have artifacts. One of the artifacts is the ladder, right? Now let's go forward 100 years. We're going forward 100 in this movement. That the average person, this is not brain whatever you call it. Yeah. Thomas Jefferson them did it. Others have done it. But we have to have the movement continuing, the Quranic movement continuing, in order for us to get there. Now, what is it going to look like 20 years from now? Right now in Mali, we have a group of people that's over 50. They're over 50. Your picture of over 50 is older than the picture of the man that was having the children with the name behind the door. He wasn't born yet. The people to get us there are not even born yet. You think you're going to get us there? You think I'm going to get us there? No. I'm older than the man in the chair and the picture, and the one holding the book. Where are we at? This is leadership. The leader is the one who's way down the road and the people is following. I'm looking way down the road. That's why I'm the progressive chief. I'm telling you, I accepted it from another people. You didn't see it, they saw it. I'm looking down the road. I've been looking down the road. But you know what I've done? Every time I underestimate. Because what we're doing today with the Quran, I didn't think we would be here doing what we're doing with the Quran now. I didn't think you all be researching Raga and other scholarly work. I thought, well, I didn't think it. I was going to deny my friend, you're going to get past the 10 forms. You stay in Mali, you're going to get past the 10 forms. I'm going to kill you. Yes, you understand? Okay. Next year, I'm going to agree with my good brother, is the year of Dawah. With Dawah, it's not going to look like the Dawah we had 50 years ago. We have to have a new, to get to where we have to go. Where are we going? Next 25 years, the next 25 years, let me tell you where we started with Mali, so I can make sure we're done by 10:30. When we started with Mali, you all didn't know me. You didn't know me. Some of you saw me at the convention in the morning. You saw me. But you didn't know me though. You never saw me with, I'm telling you stories that me and Imam had. You didn't know me to had a relationship with Imam. As some of the guys was telling on me. They had no relationship. But they ain't gonna tell nobody. And it was special with the Quran. It wasn't a lot of times. Okay, but you didn't know me. So here I am with Mali. How am I gonna do it? Okay, so you come. You stay. In my mind, I'm saying, in order for us to get to where we need to go, I gave this speech before. I've had this speech a long time. I had this speech years ago. I just have the opportunity to give it now. In order to get to where we have to go, right? I have to have something because nobody knows me. We only pay attention to the name recognition, right? Okay, here's what I have to do. I have to get Mali's name known in every masjid across the country. That's what my first step. Everybody in our community has to know about Mali. How am I going to do it? So I did it. Everybody knows about Mali now. Mali is a household name in every masjid across the country. Good, bad, or indifferent. Just say Mali and they know who Mali is. That's the first step. Now, at that moment in time when Mali started, how many people could read the Quran for themselves in the masjid? If I go to the Jummah, at any masjid in our community, sitting on the floor, I I was saying then, 1 out of 100, and maybe not even that, could read this Quran in Arabic for themselves. 1 out of 100. Guess what? If I go in Detroit to the Yemeni masjid, they're Arabs, right off the peninsula of Arabia, if not included. How many of them you think can read the Quran for themselves in Arabic and comprehend what they're reading? Arabs. Speak Arabic. 1 out of 100. This is not even documented survey. This is just me just socializing. 1 out of 100. I go to the Bengalis in Detroit. 1 out of 100. Albanians. Y'all know what Albania is? They're Europeans. 1 out of 100. Go to the Africans. 1 out of 100. Go to the Pakistanis. 1 out of 100. The common people in all of these masjids in the Detroit area, they cannot read the Quran with comprehension. And they come from Pakistan. And they got schools, but it's a Muslim country. Why can't you read the Quran? But if you come to America, and in any church you attend, how many of those people can read the Bible in English with 6th grade comprehension? You would say all of them. You don't need a great God to come to do this. We don't call Thomas Jefferson them gods, right? But you would say all of them. Now, some of them took theology, and they can give you more than what you read. No, I'm talking about the ones that can read on a 6th grade level. They can read and say, what did you read? And they'll tell you. You go in the masjid and put an Arabic Quran in front of them and read it, what you read. They can't tell you. The colonizers did it. You understand what I'm saying? You go to Africa. We were Muslims when we left Africa. We go back and come back disappointed. And I've asked them, what happened? Oh, I know what happened. They just let you keep the rituals in your name. You'll become straw. How many of y'all saw the movie Straw? A woman with some psychological problems. But what's a straw? Everybody say the straw that broke the back. No, that's not the straw. The movie is the straw. You know what the straw is? The straw is the thing that remains after the essence is gone. Go back to see the movie and think about us. The thing that remains when the essence is gone. I wasn't looking for men. I was looking for empty vessels, straws to put me in. Renew the essence. You get it? Yes. Okay. 1 out of 100. So now, we're still in the movement. We're still in the movement. Now Mali is known. Now if I go to the masjids in our community, I might say 2 out of 100, and 1 of them went to Mali. If I go in our masjids and someone can pick the Quran up and read it, and I say, what did you read? If they ask me a question now. I was 28 when I asked the man that question. I wasn't like, but now I was 28. If I go in any masjid in our community and somebody come up to me and ask me an Arabic question to get understanding from the Arabic side, I'll have to assume they have either been to Mali or have been influenced by Mali, or they went to the Middle East or university. But it's not the way of the common people. We have to get to a place where we go in the masjid and if I say, how many people can read this Quran with 6th grade comprehension? Everybody should think, oh, that's the scheme. All of them. How many of you can read English in this group? I have to assume all of you. If one of you can't read English, I would say, what happened to you? Right? It might take us 100 years now. Give me 100 years to read the Quran. And if you can't, we would have to ask, what happened to you? If somebody called you Negro today and they're Caucasian, you would have to ask, don't get upset with them. Just ask, what happened What happened to you? And maybe you don't have time to hear his story. Yes, this is the chronic movement. Now, where are we at right now? Think about it. In our community, that 1 out of 100, is he the imam? No. In the other communities, that 1 out of 100, is he the imam? Yes. That's the difference. He's the imam. He can read, but the people can't read. In our community, the imam can't read, but he's pretending. You ever see somebody that can't read and pretend they can read? Yes. But they don't want you to know they can't read. And they can pretend. I know you've seen it. You want me to show you what you've seen it? How many of you got a child 3 years old? And they take their little finger and put it on a book and be pretending to read. So, I can't break character because I'm serious. And what do you say to the child? Ah, that's good. Because you got a plan. This child here is going to Harvard. They're not in Harvard. They're not even in kindergarten. But you say, that's good. Now turn the page and read out. Right? Then you say, what do you say? Okay, let me do it. And then you read it. And then they read it. Then after a while, the child is 5, 6, 7, 8. Next thing you know, I said, how do you know that? I said, well, Dad, I can read. Yes, same process, right? Okay, right now, this is important for us to understand. We're in a different age. It's not 1930. It's 2025. We got AI, we got the internet, we got all types of resources, useful tools that we don't have when I was studying. One brother called me and said, Ma'am Salim, this is so easy, I'm jealous. Where was you at when I was learning? Just sitting at home. You just got out of bed. You didn't put your makeup on. You didn't wrap your heads. You didn't put your suit on. You didn't get out. You just got up out of bed, hit the button, you're in class. And you're ready to go. There's no excuse then. No excuse. I'm going to show you what you're going. No excuse. Where we fit into the whole scheme. But right now, this is where we're at. Don't be offended. When you listen to this video, don't be offended that you couldn't read in 1930. Don't be offended because you can't read today. Understand where we're at, the moment that we're in. A few can make syllables. They can say potato, potato. They can memorize some phrases and throw it out at you. But they can't read. You know what reading means? You know what comprehension means? That you take this word in a sentence and understand it in context with this word. If you don't understand the context, we'll say, they really can't read. They're saying the words, but they can't see the words in context. You see it? But when you can put them in context, you can read. The Quran is the best book written on earth in Quranic Arabic in context with itself. No other book is written so beautifully well put together that all the words are in context with itself in the Quran. All the verses are in context with all the other verses. I'm not telling you what I read somebody else say. This is my experience with the Quran. I can take any verse and you all doing it. You wrote the book on marriage. The book is written, you took a word and you found that word in a verse and you put it in context with another word in the verse and wrote a paragraph based upon the context. You took another word that was in the verse and put it in context and found it in a verse and put it in context with the words in that verse and wrote another paragraph. And all the paragraphs are linking and they make sense. The whole book is based on the Quran. You read the Quran. And it's based on the context. No matter what you write, we can make it make sense in the context. Because the Quran is in context with itself. You can take any verse and put it in context with any other verse. Now you know how to read. That's what the book is. That's what the first book is. You know it, because you know what you did and I know what you did. But when the people read in English, they don't know what you did, because there's no Arabic in it. But every paragraph is from the Quran. Am I right? Yes. Every paragraph is based on the Quran. Some of you looked up the same word. You can see the similarity, but any book, you go from chapter to chapter, you see something repeated, something similar, but it's not exactly the same. And you're getting ideas from it that we haven't had before. That's where we're at now in Mali. That's not where we're at in the general community. We have to get the general, that's not where we're at with the leadership. The leadership, we have too many still can't read. Do we value it? Do we understand this movement? Do we know where we came from and where we're going? And do we know the mission is to resolve this psychological, this psyche that has been damaged? The white man can't do it. Money can't do it. You would just get the money and run to the mall, give it back. Look how many million ball players get. Do you see it? No, you don't. Where do you see it at? If I go to Philadelphia, can you drive down the street and say, that's what Embiid did for us? Can you? Can you come to Detroit and I say, that's what Chauncey Billups did for us? Can I just point to things? Can I point to a project and say, Shaquille O'Neal got that project? Can you point? But look at the millions and millions, because they have a damaged psyche. A damaged psyche. And we have that same damaged psyche. The Quran is the thing that's going to cure the psyche. But that's where we're at. Now, remember when we first started? I say, don't say anything to anybody. But the revolution, we're going to start. It's time to start. It's time to say, if you're going to be our leader, you have to learn to read this Quran in Arabic. Go to Mali. If you can't go to Mali and you can't read, then you can't be our leader. Why? Because part of the scheme of not letting anybody touch them is for you to learn how to accept instructions from one of your own. And we're still too big to accept teachings from one of our own. I can say right now with confidence, if a group of imams came to Mali today, come on, don't use your name. So I know most of you by your voice. I don't know you by your name. But when you start talking, oh yes, I know you now. Don't use your name. You don't even have to say, how many of you today are not to say, I learned from Imam Salini movement? What are you supposed to say? I learned from Mali. I'm not the person, we're not building a personality here. We're building an institution, not a personality. So you don't say Salini movement, you say Mali. I'm just speaking as the one who started the institution. You're not going to always have me, but you're going to always have Mali. And Mali is going to be the place to go, to learn in our community. You see any immigrants over Mali? You see, how many immigrants you see speaking at the Mali conferences? One. People, let's be honest, one. Omar. One. He came another year. The third year, I told you, you can't come no more. Why not? Why not? Because if I let you come, number one, you can't read the Quran in Arabic. And the people think you can. That's number one. But you can't. Your father could. Your grandfather could. What I asked him? What happened to you? Your father wrote the dictionary. Your father translated Quran. Your mother did this. Your grandfather. Now you want to come to Mali. My question is, what happened to you? You can't read. Because your presentation, you use English definitions. You didn't use Arabic definitions for those words. You can't read. And if you keep coming and we're successful, you're going to say, you did it. And go and look at the movie of Gandhi, where the man had to tell his friend, go home. Because if you stay, my people won't know that they did it. They'll think you did it. So we have to do it. Because no one is going to say they couldn't have done it without us. And he said that. He said, you know, and the man knew you couldn't do it without us. And I said, from the Quran, you wait and see, and we'll wait and see. But you can't come anymore. If you don't understand, but you can't come. We're going to make it on our own. We got it from here. Thank you if you helped us, but we got it from here. Yes. I got the Imam spirit in me. I got the Honorable Elijah Muhammad spirit in me. Don't call me a racist. Okay, if I am, I'm still working on a psyche too then. I'm not there yet either. And I might not get there. But I tell you what, we're going to get there. Whether I get there with you or not, we're going to get there. To read this Quran for ourselves, it's going to give us true freedom to read it for ourselves. Our leaders, it's time for y'all to understand. We'll grandfather you in if you're over 50, but you still got to come to the classes. But if you're under 50, we're going to expect something out of you. If you're 20 to 30, we expect something out of you. We expect something from Noah. We don't expect her to have a career in Arabic. If you do, Noah, you ain't have no money. You want money, right? You want home. You want friends. You want money. You ain't gonna get it with Arabic. You know, if money was in Arabic, I wouldn't be here. That's a joke. That's a joke. So it's not for that. But it will do something to you. Your character. You as a person. Your imagination. Your imagination is going to be so broad. Things will come to you from your imagination. From Arabic. From knowing how to read this Quran. For yourself. Okay. Let me conclude. We have to start with our leaders. It's time to tell them. It's time to get serious. Stop fooling us. Quit doing all that Arabic. We don't understand what you're saying anyway. Give us show you getting the ideas. Go and learn. For real. Quit faking. You did good. We're talking about where we're at. But in order for us to get where we need to go, you're going to have to start learning. And the people are going to have to start learning. No longer can we have what we call a W.D. Muhammad, Claire Muhammad school. We don't have a school system. That's the woman thing. She still got the daughter. She don't have the daughter passed away. She don't have a daughter. Don't keep acting like you got a daughter that you don't have. You're just a straw. You get it? We don't have a school system. Quit being straw saying the school system. But we do have schools. Now, I may offend you, but this is where we're at. And like I say, are you offended? Who you gonna tell? We're in this moment. I'm almost 75 years old. When you get old, you can say anything, because you're old. I don't need a reference anymore. I don't need a deal anymore. I'm old, right? I thought T-Bell, he say, yeah. He said, if we're still here. It was in his lady, if we're still here. We're at that point, if we're still here. Inshallah, if Allah grant us, you know. So let me say it. You can't graduate with that on your school building. And you're a Muslim school, and you're graduating children who can't read the Quran. You know why I can say that so confidently now? Because you heard Noah. Until you heard Noah, I just be talking. I'm not talking anymore. I can prove it that if you start in the 5th grade, now my heart is with Sahar. Y'all don't know Sahar, do you? In the future, if you hear the name Layla or Sahar or Radia or Imara, if you hear one of those names, that's what I'm talking about, down the road. If they stay, when they graduate, I guarantee you, they're going to be able to read the Quran for themselves when they graduate from high school. I can say that now. I've done the experiment. It works. It's a little boring now, but it works. You know, when a child is born, you tickle the child, don't you? First, make them laugh. You're 50 years old, still want to be tickled. We got to quit tickling people. To get them to learn. Okay? So we can do it. If you can. And I'm not saying shut down the school and teach only Arabic. Half hour, 45 minutes, twice a week, with a little homework. If you're in the 5th grade, when you graduate, I guarantee you, the valedictorian can give their speech from the Quran using Arabic and English. I guarantee you, that's what our graduating class will look like in 7 years from now. I said this 7 years ago. They thought I was talking. They thought I wanted some money. But how much money is it going to cost? How much money for the book? I said, no, you don't have to just go in there and just download it. I'll give it to you. There's no money. This idea is bigger than money. It's worth more than money. I'm not hustling nobody. Just for you to come into the mighty class and take the drill. I'm not hustling you for money. And if I ask for it, you'll give it to me. But I'm not asking. So don't give it to me. Make a donation, small. And I don't use it on myself. If I did, I'd buy my wife 4 or 5 of them pretty dresses. Well, she looked pretty without those dresses. Another joke. Okay, let me sum it up. So here's the people. They're in the wilderness, right? All they want is lentils, onions, potatoes. They want the food from the earth. That's all that we don't want. But Moses said, no, there's spiritual food. Allah has provided you shade and has given you spiritual food in the form of manna and salawat. 2 more Arabic words, fire and water, manna and salawat. They're hard to translate. They're not sure about what salawat is. They say it's a pigeon, it's a bird, it's something. So let's say it's a bird. Okay? But the salawat, it's a bird, like it's the meat. And it reminds me of when I see the sign, honey baked ham. I got to, I don't know what it tastes like, but it's honey. What they do, bake the ham in honey? Is the ham so good it tastes, you get that thick honey, you got that thick honey on it? That's what cellulite is. Cellulite is something that's in the meat of the bird. It's like honey. It's sweet, nice and sweet, and it's honey-like. That's how some of the scholars will say. But here's the thing. It only comes in the morning. If you don't get this spiritual food in the morning, you'll miss it throughout the day. You won't even remember what you read. You'll miss it. You have to get it in the morning, before Fajr. There's a time before Fajr. When Fajr hits, the door opens, then it's going to go away. You got to get it early. You get it? To get this cellulite. Now, how does that connect with Bilal? The word Bilal, most of us say Bilal is the black African. And we're Bilalians because we're like the black African Bilal. Let me give you a little more for Bilal. Bilal means that freshness in that early morning dew. When the dew falls on the plant life, early in the morning, it's a certain freshness to it. You can't get that freshness after the sun comes. It's going to go away. You can still get the vegetables, but it won't have that freshness to it because you have to get it in the morning. Do you all understand? This is Bilal. So in this movement, if we're going to be Bilalians, we're talking about the Quranic movement, we have to be known as a people who are up before Fajr, getting the cellulite from the Quran. The Quran is our bird. How do I know that? Because our flag is the Quran and it's in the form of a bird. One bird, not four birds. One bird. And the cellulite, if you want to get that good sweetness from reading the Quran, you have to get it in the morning, or else it's going to be gone. Take 4 from the bird. It sounds good to say 4 birds. The man never said 4 birds. Let me correct you. You don't use the preposition men when you're counting. Okay? We're almost done. That's when we get to where we have to get to. The Imam has that spirit. When we get to where we want to get to, that's when we're going to raise that flag in honor. We have the flag now, kind of like the Crips and the Bloods got their image. We got our image. They belong to their group. We belong to ours. We put the flag anywhere and everywhere. Some of us don't even know what the flag. When I say the flag, you have to think about what flag. That flag, we'll have honor that flag. When the day we walk in the masjid, let me go back a little. The day we walk in the masjid, the first step, our leaders have to know how to read. That's the first step. Second step, how many of you, we could almost say today, that in all of our families, there's a Muslim. Today, I can call the hotel and say we would like halal food. The chicken was halal. We would like halal. I say, no problem. That's where we're at. There's a Muslim in all of our families. In every family, as we're going down the road, 25 years from now, in every family, there's a Muslim. In every family, there's someone that can read the Quran. And that person in the family is who does the wedding. That person does the janazah. That person does what we get Brother Imam to do. You go to him in your family. Then we go another 25 years. everyone in the Muslim, raised in the Muslim family, can read the Quran for themselves when they graduate from high school. Or else we have to ask, what happened to you? That you can't read. And we have to plan for it. Go to grandma, go to granddad, tell them where you're at in the area. Do you know your conjugation? Do you know your 10 forms? Do you know the grammar? Do you know the moves? Show me. Amen. Oh, you can see that? Show me. Just show me. You know, they'll learn. That's where we want to be in this movement. From where we started, where we want to be, in Mali. Mali is the leading institution in our community to learn to read Quranic Arabic with comprehension. It's Mali. It's a fact. Anybody want to challenge me? No, there's one other place. There's one other place. I got to be honest. Imam Jihad Safi. Yes. He has a school. And in that school, those children that graduate to read the Quran. We don't hear much about him, but I have to include him. He has them every day, so he's ahead of Mali. He's ahead of Mali because he has a school. Mali shouldn't be the head because we have weekend, 1 hour a week, no homework. If you have the school, you're supposed to be ahead of Mali. And he's ahead of Mali. All of us have to be like that. If we take this Quran serious, and if we all agree we have a psychic problem, it's going to resolve it. That's where we want to be, and that's where we're headed. So, in the year of the Dawah, as Imam Fahim said, this has to be part of our Dawah program, the Quran. And how are we going to get to where we need to get to? Reading it for ourselves, not from the Medina books, not from Medina, not from here, not from there, for Mali. With the system that we've been going over, it fits us. And we're going to read it for ourselves, see what we see, what we read, and where do we see it in our life? And how does it apply to our life? We're not going to be somebody else. We're going to be ourselves and applying it to ourselves. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Gather round, it's time to cheer. 50 years of love and light, we're here. Celebrate legacy, shining so bright. Imam W. Dean's vision, guiding our flight. Hey, it's the IWD M50 strong in. A journey through the past, where dreams transcend. From his wisdom we rise, we thrive. Honoring the legacy, keeping hope alive. Hey! 3 days of joy, a multi-generational call. New leaders emerging, we're growing tall. From community life to human excellence, together we strive to magnify this great existence. Hey, it's the IWD M50 strong in. A journey through the past, where dreams transcend. From his wisdom we rise and we thrive. Honoring the legacy, keeping hope alive. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. A cultural extravaganza, performers on stage. Come celebrate our story, help us turn the page. With every heartbeat, we work and play. In the spirit of unity, we chart our way. Hey, it's the IWD M50 strong in. A journey through the past, where dreams transcend. From his wisdom we rise and we thrive. Honoring the legacy, keeping hope alive. So let's raise our W. Dean's leadership will forever glow. Together we celebrate, together we stand. 50 years of guidance, we work hand in hand. Hey, it's the IWD and 50 strong, and together we'll shine. Let the love never end. So let's raise our production and let the world know Imam W. Dean's leadership will forever glow. Together we celebrate, together we stand. 50 years of guidance, we work hand in hand. Hey, it's the IWD and 50 strong, and together we'll shine. Let the love never end. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Say it, I know you've been waiting for it. You've been waiting for me to say it. We cannot be stopped now.